I feel like if I ambushed him at a press conference, he would just come everywhere and it would just be like, oh. Can I call him now just to see if he'll do that? Even before all this happened, people would be like, you sound like you have a porn name. I was talking about this healthcare rant he did on the house floor and like how it made me all hot and bothered. Because I'm that girl that watches C-SPAN like a freak. He poked me on Facebook, which I was like, that's interesting, you know, because when you poke someone on Facebook, you pretty much want to fuck them. I mean, he would talk to me about, you know, what was going on in my life, but it would just go straight back to sex every time. I like maybe Pedro Accidente or like Pablo Hazard. I never called him that in the heat of the moment ever. I thought it was always weird. I never even asked about it because I thought it was so weird. So there was no ever like, oh, Carlos, you know?
You're so dangerous.
She goes by Sydney Leathers online. I'm like, what else would I go by but my name? It seemed to me like he wasn't getting any at the time. Otherwise, why would he call me 5 times a day to masturbate? Luckily, he came fast a lot of the times. He could have been sending dick pics to a guy online. He's such a pervert. He's probably like, everyone look at my wiener. Maybe like that? Well, if you want to see it later, I have it in my inbox. So I don't know any girls that are ever like, oh, let me see your dick. He wants the girl to be like, oh, you're so big, or oh, I want to fuck you. I did lust for wiener. You're welcome. I promise by the end of the day, you'll be walking around naked. I was like, no way. He'd tell me, you know, your body's fantasy hot, like don't mess with anything, you're perfect. You know, things that girls want to hear even if it's not true. His voice on the house floor is different than his phone sex voice. He tries to turn on the sex appeal as much as Anthony Weiner can.
Growl.
No, there was no growling. And he would thank me too, which I always, like every single time though, like even if it happened 5 times a day, I felt like he was exhausted by the time we were done usually. Can we have a threesome? Call Vivid, call Vivid. I'll lick Hillary's cankles, it'll be so sexy.
Looks good in a pantsuit.
I'll rip it off her. Oh, maybe I want to be a lawyer someday, volunteer on campaigns, and now it's like, well, how am I going to do that? You know, my whole life, I've got to reevaluate everything now. I think the hardest thing was when you have like friends trying to sell stories about you, or like have a family member speaking to the press after you begged them not to. That's the hardest.
Uncle Jim. It's always Uncle Jim.
Uncle John, actually. My brothers probably would have been happier if it was some athlete they could have known, but no, it had to be some dorky politician. And they're like, who the fuck's Anthony Weiner?
I know. Now everybody knows.
Now everyone knows.
You don't watch ESPN because you don't like sports, but they do these kind of...
I'm going to because Keith Olbermann's going to be back, and I have such a crush on him.
Oh my God, you were sick.